Ah, finally I'm outside. Xin chào Vietnam. Boarding time. There's been a little bit of delay with our flight. Boarding was supposed to be at 11:55, and it's already 12:15. So there's been like a 20-minute delay. I forgot how long the flight was. Naiya Terminal 2 was quite chaotic than usual, but it wasn't very long until we finally boarded the plane. Just arrived in Ho Chi Minh, and I am currently in the walkalator right now on my way to immigration. And then I'll be headed towards the domestic departure on my flight to Danang. Just got through immigration. That took a very long time. The lines are crazy long, and the lane was moving so slow. So yeah, I'm exhausted from after all that standing around waiting for the line to move. And I'm down here looking for my bag. Where's my bag? Ah, finally I'm outside. Xin chào Vietnam. I'm currently walking outside the international terminal on my way to Terminal 1 to the domestic terminal for my flight to Danang. This is exciting. I've never walked this part of the airport before. There's the domestic terminal. It's in there. So I finally got through the security check for my domestic flight. I'm just waiting for my boarding time. Boarding time is 6:40 something, I think. And I tucked myself away here near the farthest gate, which is 11 and 12. Because there's less people, it's less crowded. The vibe of the entire airport is, there really is a stark difference between the last time that I was here, which was in March and early April. There's a lot of people already. People are back to traveling. What I'm talking about was the international airport. A lot more crowded now than it was last March. Upon arriving at the Danang International Airport, we booked ourselves a cab through GrabCar to send us to our booked hotel for the night, which is Riverside Hotel in the middle of Danang. Alright. Oh, this way. No. And then go this way. Right. Thank you. Wow. We wanted to go out and see this side of the city, but it was raining very hard and we were both very tired, so we decided to just have pho for the evening for our dinner. Hanoi. We don't have cash, so we're waiting for cash. As per YouTube recommendation, I chose to get the crispy beef noodle soup. Which was very good and very filling. This is how the restaurant that we went to looked like during the daytime as we passed by it on our way to our hotel, which is Hyatt Regency Danang. Also, on our way there, we passed through the famous Dragon Bridge in Danang. If you are a frequent traveler and who frequently stays at hotels when traveling, I do have a travel tip for you. Register to this club in Hyatt. It's some sort of like a membership club that you don't actually have to pay, because if you are a registered member, you are checked in into this private club members check-in area, which is very quiet, away from all the other guests that are checking in. And plus, like I said, if you frequently stays at hotels, in Hyatt hotels, you accumulate points along the way and you can use it for members perks. The entire resort is pretty wide, so we were carted to our hotel room, which is on the west side of the hotel. The hotel room is quite big and it was overlooking the ocean, which is a really big plus. But I think most of the hotel rooms anyway here in Hyatt Regency Danang are overlooking or at least facing the ocean. After settling in, we decided to spend some time at the poolside, probably order some drinks, and enjoy the view of Danang. We are at the beach. It's a pretty wide beach. So you can see behind me, that's the benches. The beach is pretty wide and it's actually pretty long. It stretches as far as my eye can see. As you can see back there, if you can see it, that's where the city is. I'm not sure if you can see it, but right across us, that's the Sontra Peninsula. You can actually see the statue right from here. Good morning, Vietnam. 6 a.m. and we are headed down to the beach. Since the current isn't that strong, maybe we could finally take a dip now. We weren't able to take a dip in the ocean as soon as we arrived yesterday because the currents were very strong and the people from the hotel were actually discouraging us from taking a dip in the ocean. But now at 6 a.m. the water is definitely calmer, so we decided to take a morning dip. Good thing the water was very warm and was not cold at all. After which we went to the breakfast buffet, which was extensive. My favorite part was the crispy bacon and the authentic Vietnamese coffee.
Yes.
My name's Sue. Nice to
Sue.
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Reno.
Reno.
Yes.
Camero.
Thank you.
My name's Sue. I don't forget.
Okay.
Everything marble souvenir.
Alright, we will find you later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next up, we went to the Marble Mountains in Danang, which is a very famous tourist spot. As an entrance fee, you're gonna have to pay 40,000 dong.
Thank you.
As for the elevator, you have to pay 15,000 dong, which you can opt out to if you don't want to take the elevator. But we didn't want to break out sweat before we could actually enjoy the view, so we chose to pay the 15,000 dong. As soon as we arrived at the hilltop, this made me realize that visiting Vietnam, I will always recommend doing it during springtime or during winter because it's very hot, definitely hotter than the Philippines at this point. At the top of the mountain, there is this cave that everybody goes to. This is the big archway towards the cave. And the cave is called the Vantong Cave. The stairs on the way up is quite slippery from the collected water from the rain from the night before. So you really need to be careful on your way up. I think I'm gonna have leg cramps after all that climbing. As soon as we got down, we decided to visit the store of the lady that greeted us when we arrived and picked out a few souvenirs. Next on our itinerary is visiting the Mison Sanctuary, which will cost you 150,000 dong per person. Thank you. Before you could actually see the ruins, you're gonna have to take quite a hike and ride this transport bus that will bring you to the base of the ruins. You can definitely tell that you're in the middle of the jungle as you're surrounded by these creeks with very crystal clear waters. A lot of the temples were actually ruined during the war. As you can see here, this is a crater that was left by the bomb. The heat during the hike was becoming unbearable that I had to go down to the stream, wash my face, and refresh myself with the cold water. From Mison Sanctuary, our ride dropped us off at Hoi An Old Town. This was the place that I was most excited about to visit. I love visiting old towns. I love visiting those old architectures that have been preserved throughout the times. In here, apart from the extensive amount of coffee shops around this old town, there are so many things that you could find here, especially souvenirs that you could gift to your loved ones when you go home. One of the coffee shops that I would definitely recommend visiting is the Tammy Coffee, the rooftop coffee shop here in Hoi An, which will greet you with quaint interiors from the inside, and as you go up, you will be greeted with this beautiful view of the entire old town. After fueling ourselves with coffee from Tammy Coffee, we then dropped by at BB Tailoring for some custom suits, where they can take your measurements on the same day as you would have your first fitting for your orders. This is the BB Branch 2, and they would recommend you to visit the BB Branch 1, where they actually allow you to visit and see all the orders from all the branches being handmade by so many local Vietnamese seamstresses. And the great thing about it is you can pick up your suit the next day. I bet you if this street was in the Philippines, this would have been smelling with piss from drunk people. Let me take you back to 2015. After all that walking, we decided to find ourselves some food for lunch. We found this very quaint, very local Vietnamese restaurant that looked like they served authentic Vietnamese food, which what we are always looking for when we travel, and they definitely did. It definitely was one of the best food that I have ever got during the 2 times that I have ever traveled here in Vietnam. One of the most famous things to do here in Hoi An, which is obviously very famous among Korean ajumas, is riding around these tricycles, which I think is very fun, but we didn't bother doing it anyway. Instead, we went to have some more coffee and ordered myself some coconut coffee. What you're actually seeing are not flies, but actually some type of insect which is closely related to the bee, which is attracted to these sugars from the juice that they are serving here. Tastes like real honey. It tastes ginger. And this is supposed to have something lotus in here. But I've never tried lotus before, so first time for everything, I guess. And once again, we stopped by for another cup of mango, which I already had the day before. Probably one of the best highlights of this trip is going into these boats that are on the water that will give you a 15-minute ride, where you can actually drop a candle into the ocean for some good luck. And enjoy the sight of the beautiful blue hour with the golden city of lights of Hoi An. And the fun part, these boats actually go under the bridge that we just crossed on our way to the docks where these boats were. For our dinner, we decided to go to Ban Mi Fong, which is actually recommended by Anthony Bourdain. But of course, we couldn't resist getting ourselves a glass of bubble tea. Before closing time, we dropped by BB Branch 2 to pick up the suits that we ordered. And finally, it was time for us to leave Danang and go to Hanoi. And just like that, we're finally back in Hanoi for the second time. As for our lunch, we decided to stop by at this restaurant that serves Chinese food, which I do not recommend because their food was actually a little bit on the pricier side and they were not actually worth it. In my opinion, stick to authentic Vietnamese food when you are in Vietnam. But of course, a trip to Hanoi wouldn't be complete without stopping by a Toi Ta ice cream shop. We did some walking around the lake and decided to stop by at the coffee shop that we went to last time we were here, which is the Bangkok Cafe and Restaurant. This is a beautiful coffee shop that has about approximately 5 levels to the top. or just like these other people here, hang out with your friends, or even study if you want to. Also, another tip, this restaurant actually serves steak, and they actually have romantic dinner packages during Valentine's Day. The coffee that I ordered was just a perfect pair for the rain outside. As soon as it was nighttime, we walked around to buy some neckties and complete some souvenirs that we wanted to take home. And for our last dinner before leaving Vietnam, we decided to have another local banh mi. Dear Ate Charlie, masakit po ang kanyang likod sa kakalakad sa pamimili ng pasalubong para sa pamilya. Ngayon ay naghihintay siya sa kanyang order na panmi. Kasi po, siya po ay gutom, nagmamahal, Jezebel. Vietnam will always have a special place in my heart, and definitely a country that I will keep on visiting. There's so much more to explore in Vietnam, especially outside the main cities, and I cannot wait to visit Vietnam again very, very soon.